This morning, greetings, friends, and welcome to The Bright Side, your nutritional program dedicated to the understanding of the vast world of nutrition and nutritional supplementation. I'm your host, pharmacist Ben, nutritional pharmacist from Boulder, Colorado. I specialize in using nutritional supplements where other healthcare practitioners use toxic pharmaceutical drugs and sometimes deadly medical procedures. If you suspect that there are natural nutritional roads to your health and vitality and well-being, and to addressing your health challenges, whatever they may be, but you don't know where to begin, you have come to the right place. As you listen to The Bright Side every day, you are more and more in control of your body. You are more and more knowledgeable, and you know you can overcome any health issue. That's why we're here every day on The Bright Side, helping clear up the sometimes confusing world of nutrition and nutritional supplementation. Over the last 29 years of practicing pharmacy, I have seen drug-free recoveries from diabetes and hypertension and obesity and skin diseases like psoriasis, eczema, rosacea, acne, digestive ailments, autoimmune issues of all kinds. Recoveries that by the standards of modern medicine can only be called a miracle, but what is in the world of the body, what is in the world of biology, standard operating procedure. Because the human body, the human biological system, is a healing system. It's a regenerating system. It's a renewing system. It is designed divinely to heal itself on a moment-to-moment basis. And while some folks may call that renewing, regenerating, healing system a miracle, it really is just the way the body works. If you have questions about health or nutrition or prescription drugs, we welcome your phone calls on The Bright Side. 844-236-6010 is our number, 844-236-6010. If you have questions about the longevity products, formulations, ingredients, if you want to wean yourself off your meds and get on a good nutritional supplement program, we can help you. 844-236-6010 is our number. Let us be your go-to source for health and nutrition information. 844-236-6010 is our number. If you want to purchase any of the longevity products you hear recommended or advertised on the program, please go to my blog, pharmacistben.com or criticalhealthnews.com, or you can head over to brightsideben.com and order products right off the website, or you can call the phone team at 866-735-2470, 866-735-2470. If you want to start a little business and make some money, a little bit of money, medium amount of money, a lot of money selling longevity products, you can click on the Join the Team link at brightsideben.com, criticalhealthnews.com, or pharmacistben.com, or you can tell the folks at 866-735-2470, 866-735-2470 that you want to join the Brightside Ben team for a one-time $25 fee. You can have yourself a business and earn thank you checks by spreading the word about the power and importance of a good nutritional supplement program. And, of course, if you're interested in purchasing any of our Truth Treatment products, including our Retinol 5% gel or our Truth Serum made with 80% premium vitamin C, lipophilic fatty vitamin C, you can head over to truthtreatments.com. That's truthtreatments.com. All right, speaking of lipophilic, fat-soluble, fat-loving, we've been talking about essential fatty acids and fats and the different types of fats, dietary fats, and fatty hormones, fatty vitamins we're going to be talking about, fat digestion, fat malabsorption we'll be talking about here over the coming days, all as it regards the skin and all as it regards hormone health and the skin. So there's three main categories of dietary fats. You have hard fats. Those are called saturated fats. And then you have fake hard fats, or fake saturated fats, I should say, the ones that are processed. You have real saturated fats, natural saturated fats. Those mostly come from coconut as well as palm. Butter is also a source of saturated fats. Avocado has some saturated fats in it. And then there's the fake saturated fats. Those are said to be hydrogenated because they're created by combining the element hydrogen, with a liquid fat, which has a hardening effect. By pumping hydrogen in through a liquid fat, you get a hydrogenated fat, which is a hard fat. It's a fake saturated fat. It's a fake butter or a fake coconut oil or a fake palm oil in the sense that it's a fake hardened fat. In fact, they were created, these hydrogenated fats were created because lard was becoming scarce. It was expensive because you had to raise pigs to get lard, and a lot of the pig products or lard products, a lot of the sources of lard were being redirected into the cosmetics industry, believe it or not, even to this day. Procter & Gamble, Lever Brothers, these big skincare companies, huge mega skincare companies, are located in Cincinnati because that's where all the pig farms were. Anyway, when these pig byproducts were being redirected into the cosmetic business. There wasn't a lot available for food, and it was less available for food. Lard was becoming expensive, so the Procter & Gamble company came up with this way of hardening fats artificially, processing fats artificially. Actually, Crisco was the first of these hydrogenated fats, and it was actually not even designed really originally as a food source. It was designed originally to make candles with. Procter & Gamble were candle makers. We've talked about this story in the past. I'm not going to necessarily get into it too much, except to say that the first hydrogenated fat at the turn of the 20th century was Crisco, and its introduction heralded the age of fast foods and snack foods and heart disease, as well as autoimmune disease, as well as cancer. There wasn't a lot of heart disease or autoimmune disease or cancer before Crisco. Now, I'm not saying Crisco causes these things, but there's certainly a connection between ill health, circulatory health, immune system health, and cancer, and the excess ingestion of these fake processed hydrogenated fats. So Crisco, which stands for crystallized cottonseed oil, crystallized meaning hardened, cottonseed oil. Crisco was first designed to be used for candles and for soap, and then later on it got used for making chips and snack foods. Crisco and saturated fats have a very interesting property. They can be melted, and then they're going to reharden. This is very interesting because it allows us to create really tasty, irresistible foods. This fascinating effect of being melted and then rehardening over time. Not all fats will do that. Not all, certainly liquid fats don't do that, but saturated fats will melt and then reharden. And this feature of fake fats, and lard for that matter as well, and coconut oil, and also palm oil, allows them to react really nicely with starchy foods. Starchy foods have a microscopic structure that contains lots of holes in it, lots of little tiny holes. And the combination of these little tiny holes in starchy foods and melted oil, which rehardens, creates a crispy sensation. So especially if these starchy foods are sliced very thin. So if you take your potatoes, for example, but you could use any starchy food, really, wheat, potatoes, taro chips, or taro, I should say, which is a kind of potato-like substance, and you slice these foods up very, very thin, you'll expose these microscopic holes. And then when you dip that very thinly sliced starch with the microscopic holes exposed into a hot oil, a hot saturated oil, saturated fat, and then pull the starchy slice of potato or whatever up, that melted fat will harden in those holes and will create a really interesting and irresistible crispy sensation. Human beings find this crispiness irresistible. And then when that crispy, starchy, fat-laden substance is coated with salt or sometimes sugar, it becomes absolutely irresistible. The combination of the starch, the fat, and the salt, and sometimes sugar, is just downright addictive, and it's why nobody can eat just one chip. And this culinary chemical reaction between melted and rehardened saturated fat and holes, gap-filled thin slices of starch gave birth to a $1 trillion snack food industry. This really interesting phenomenon of starch plus fat that melts and then rehardens inside the holes in the starch gave birth to a $1 trillion, literally $1 trillion snack food industry. And even today, many of the largest and most profitable corporations in the world make a lot of their money by leveraging the economics of chips and crackers, which are a phenomena of this combination of starches and oils, starches and fats and salt. These days, the phenomena of melted and rehardened fats combined with starches have been exploited to do a lot more than just create chips and crackers. French fries are made this way, onion rings are made this way, corn dogs are made this way. You can even get deep fried Twinkies and Snickers bars and pig ears by eating foods that have been coated with flour and then dipped in melted oil, which rehardens in the flour. All right, I'm Pharmacist Ben. You're listening to The Bright Side. 844-236-6010 is our number. We'll take a break and come back right after this. Don't go. Back on The bright side. I am Pharmacist Ben. Thanks for joining us. 844-236-6010 is our number. Got lines open for you. Try to call in early if you can so we can get to as many calls as possible. If we left you on hold yesterday or the day before, now's your chance to give us a shout. We do have lines open, 844-236-6010. If you have questions about the longevity products, formulations, skincare, hormone health, if you want to wean yourself off your meds and get on a good nutritional supplement program, if you have a success story you'd like to share, or if you just want to contribute to the conversation, 844-236-6010 is our number today and every day on the bright side. All right, so we're talking fats, essential fats, saturated fats. There's three major kinds of dietary fats. The first kind are saturated. You have fake saturated fats, Crisco, hydrogenated, trans. They come in different names, shortening, vegetable shortening, if you will. And then you have the real saturated fats, which come from butter and palm and coconut. Now, these saturated fats are very interesting because they're actually quite stable, unlike the unsaturated fats, the liquid fats, which we'll talk about here in a sec. Saturated fats gave birth to the entire snack food industry, as we said before we went to break. These days you can get all kinds of crazy foods that are created based on this idea that saturated fats melt and then reharden. And when they're combined with starches, you get an interesting crispy quality. And then when it's combined with salt, it becomes absolutely irresistible. And if you throw sugar on top of that, it becomes darn right addictive. Funnel cakes come to mind. Really, you can make these kinds of foods at home just by taking starch, taking flour, and then adding oil, a melted saturated oil, and then as that oil rehardens, it'll turn that starchy food, that flour, something as simple as just flour in a frying pan. It'll turn it into a crispy, somewhat irresistible food, especially if you add sugar and salt. These days you get deep-fried lemonade, deep-fried Coke, deep-fried Kool-Aid. You get deep-fried beer simply by combining these kinds of liquids with flour and then dipping them in a melted saturated fat, which then rehardens. There's really no end to this kind of stuff you can create. I've seen deep-fried bubblegum flavored marshmallows and jelly beans coated with icing and powdered sugar, if you can believe that. All right, so the second kind of dietary fat are the unsaturated fats. The first type is a saturated fat. You got fake ones and real ones, and then you have your unsaturated fats. Your unsaturated fats are the liquid ones. And most unsaturated fats are going to be vegetable derived from vegetation, from vegetables, grains especially, seeds too. And they're not stable, and this is a problem. Fats are super high energy. They're the highest energy of any food group. And with high energy always comes high instability. They work together. The reason something is highly energetic is literally because it's unstable. So when you have high energy, you've got high instability. In the world of nutrition, that's kind of a mixed bag. It's a dual-edged sword. In the world of nutrition, obviously you're looking for high energy, get the most bang for your buck with something that's high energy, but you got to be very careful with stuff that's high energy, with fats that are high energy, because they're highly unstable. And just like high energy nutrients are really important, highly unstable nutrients are really dangerous, at least problematic in terms of anti-aging and in terms of diseases. Manufacturers of these kinds of oils, of these unsaturated oils, will kind of improve or attempt to improve the stability of their product by removing the nutrients, by taking out the vitamin E, by taking out the phytonutrients, creating a dead food which is stable. That's why if you go down to your local supermarket, the section with all the oils, you'll see cooking oils in a clear bottle. Anytime you see oil in a clear bottle, you've got yourself a dead oil. Living, live, nutrient-filled oils need to be kept in a dark bottle. They need to be kept in the refrigerator, and they need to be used fresh. Supermarket oils, and you can tell just by seeing them in a clear bottle. In fact, you can tell by any time there's an oil in a clear bottle that you're dealing with a nutrient-empty or a nutrient-deprived product. Manufacturers think that's a good thing because then they have a stable oil. And it is a good thing if you want to sell a product, but it's not a good thing for your body. And even worse, these grain oils and seed oils can become damaged by the processing and by the heat at the factory. And this is why some healthcare practitioners, Dr. Wallach included, Dr. Glidden and other folks that I know, will advise against eating liquid fats, liquid oils, especially when they're fried or subjected to heat. But a lot of nutritionists, a lot of alternative practitioners will say, don't eat them at all. Now, personally, I think some of these oils, if they're used correctly, that is, if they're not cooked and they're not heated and they're kept in a refrigerator and they're used fresh and they're kept in a dark bottle, in my opinion and in my experience, personal experience and experience with my patients, I've seen that these things can be wonderful sources of nutrients and very beneficial. So, in my opinion, you're throwing out the baby with the bathwater if you avoid liquid oils because there's so many good things in there. You got to be careful. Yes, you don't want to cook them. You don't want to fry with them. You want to use them fresh. You want to make sure they're in a dark bottle, etc. But as long as they are, you're going to get some wonderful nutritional value out of these things, especially heart-friendly nutrients. Now, it's a judgment call. That's my opinion, and everyone's going to have to make their own decisions, but that's my take on that whole controversy around liquid oils. So these liquid fats, these unsaturated fats, are especially good sources of two incredibly important nutritional components. These two critical nutritional components are only found, or mostly found, in liquid fats. And these two components, these two nutritional components that are found in unsaturated liquid fats are acids. They're acidic in nature. And they're vital. They're so vital, they're essential, like air and like water. You can't live without these two acidic compounds, these two acidic fats that are found in unsaturated oils. They're essential and they're acidic, and they're almost like vitamins. They're part of the mighty 90 essential nutrients, which is why we call them essential acids, or more accurately, essential fatty acids, or EFAs. So EFAs are found in unsaturated oils largely. They're found in liquid oils largely. They come in two varieties. They're acidic, and they are essential, which means they're like air, they're like water, they're like vitamins. You cannot live without these EFAs. In the world of nutrition, if you hear the word essential as an essential fatty acid or essential amino acid or essential nutrient, what that means is you better get it in your diet because your body's not making it and you need it. In the case of essential fatty acid deficiencies, which are extremely common, you have all kinds of symptoms that are associated with not getting enough EFAs, especially skin issues, autoimmune issues. Even cancer can be associated with deficiencies in essential fatty acids. Inflammation can be associated with essential fatty acid deficiencies. But the biggest, the most PMS issues also can be associated with EFA deficiencies because EFAs are important for the absorption of fats. It's a vicious downward spiral. Once you're deficient in your EFAs, you're not going to absorb your EFAs as effectively, which means you'll be more deficient, which means you'll absorb them even less, and this is where the downward spiral comes from. No part of the body is more in need of essential fatty acids, and no part of the body is more susceptible to deficiency disease states from EFA deficiency than the skin. In fact, skin diseases are the body's cry for essential fatty acids. Psoriasis, acne, dermatitis, even ultimately melanomas and skin cancer may be related to essential fatty acid deficiency. All right. Got more to say about EFA deficiencies and the skin. We'll talk about the importance of a vitamin, one incredible vitamin that helps stabilize essential fatty acids. When we come back from our break, we'll take your phone calls as well. 844-236-6010. Okay, we are back on the bright side. 844-236-6010 is our number. Got lines open for you. 844-236-6010. We're talking essential fats, liquid fats, solid fats. Your liquid fats are unsaturated. Your solid fats, fake or natural, called saturated fats. Liquid fats they're unstable, but they're also really important sources of nutrition, especially vitamin E and especially something called phytosterols, plant hormone-like substances, steroid hormone-like substances, which can help improve our steroid hormone, the actions of our steroid hormones. Liquid fats are also a great source of vitamin E, so important for the brain. Vitamin E is ridiculously important, actually, and we'll talk about that probably tomorrow, how unbelievably, phenomenally important vitamin E is. I got a letter from my friend Gina in Oregon. She said, Ben, you're absolutely correct. I'm paraphrasing here. Vitamin E can be used very effectively for burns and for cuts and for scrapes, and I've noticed it in my practice now for decades, that when you take high doses of vitamin E, your wounds heal faster. Doctors will actually tell you not to take vitamin E before surgery because vitamin E has a thinning effect on the blood. But as it turns out, thinning is not necessarily a bad thing, thinning of the blood. Thinning of the blood means more nutrient delivery. It means more detoxification. I read a really interesting study, and I can't find it now, but I read this really interesting study yesterday about estrogen and blood clotting. Do you know estrogen, estradiol specifically, actually a form of estradiol, one of these breakdown products of estrogen that we talked about yesterday, is actually so effective as a blood clotter that it's being explored for use in the military for soldiers who are wounded. They're trying to use this toxic byproduct of estrogen as a blood clotting agent for wounded soldiers. Well, what does that tell you? That tells you that if your body is making an excess amount of this derivative of estrogen because you have a liver problem or you're not making enough bile or you have an intestinal problem or you got problems with your gut bacteria, that pretty much covers most of us, you're going to be clotting. Your blood's going to be thick. Your blood's going to be stagnant. Your blood's not going to be circulating as effectively. That means a lot of problems can ensue, including nutritional deficiencies, including toxicity, including blood sugar problems, all secondary to a problem metabolizing or utilizing or eliminating estrogen. This is so important for people suffering from fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue syndrome, autoimmune diseases. Why do you think most victims of autoimmune diseases are women? It's because of this involvement with toxic estrogen and partially at least, because of the association between toxic estrogen and stagnant, sticky, thick, clotted blood. There's also an epidemic of blood clotting, probably, again, secondary to problems associated with estrogen metabolism. I'm telling you, if you want to pick one single thing to do for your health, it's work on your digestive system. Vitamin E, of course, will help. Vitamin E is a blood-thinning vitamin. And it's very difficult to get vitamin E from foods. Grain oils are your best source of vitamin E, and you're still not going to get that much anyway. That's why it's so important to supplement with your vitamin E. Different types of vitamin. We'll talk about vitamin E here tomorrow or the next day. We'll also talk about the omega-3s and omega-6s, the relationship between omega-3s and omega-6s, how much you need, etc., what they both do. We'll do all that in the coming days as we continue talking fats, hormones, and skin health on the bright side. All right, got lines open for you. 844-236-6010 is our number, 844-236-6010. Let's go to Tawanda in Oklahoma. Welcome to the bright side, Tawanda.
Thank you. How are you doing this morning, Ben?
I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. Great. And can you turn your radio down if you have not done that already so we don't get an echo?
Okay, can you hear me better?
Yes, we got you. Okay. What's going on?
Well, my question is, Ben, for children ages 2 through 5 with skin eczema, what's good to do for them?
Oh, my gosh, it's so easy to deal with. Is it your baby?
No, it's a friend of my baby.
How well do you know her? Do you know the child?
Very well.
Yes, very well? Yes? Does the child have snotty nose, runny nose, and ear infections and that kind of stuff?
Yes, and the breath is really bad as well.
Okay, bingo. You're dealing with a digestive problem. The breath issue tells me that there's a problem with gut bacteria, but I didn't need to know that. Usually that's the case. So what you want to do is you want to start working with food. Eczema is super, 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 super easy to treat. So is psoriasis. And psoriasis and eczema are very similar. Psoriasis is reverse eczema. Psoriasis is when skin cells are growing too fast. Eczema is when they're not growing fast enough. But they both involve inflammation. Inflammation means two things. Number one, immune system and digestive problems. And number two, problems with fats. Those are the two areas you're going to work with. And they're related. So digestion, that means elimination diet. That means look for foods that cause problems. Look for foods that cause eczema flare-ups. Look for foods that cause exacerbation of mucus, snottiness, or trigger infections, ear infections. Ear infections are, by the way, the same thing. And ear infections are like an epidemic in little kids. Not a reason for an antibiotic, FYI.
Yeah.
So eczema, eczema, snottiness, snotty nose, mucus, runny nose, ear infections. Look for flare-ups and link those to foods. Write down everything the child should write down, or the mom should write down everything the child eats, and then link the foods to those kinds of problems. That will give you a clue as to what the kid is reacting to. Usually dairy's involved, grains can be involved, peanuts can be involved, soy, eggs. There's lots of things, and you don't want to get all hooked on what you think it might be. You want to kind of get specific data for the specific patient, the specific child.
Exactly.
Okay, good. So you're going to eliminate food. You're going to look for foods, and you're going to eliminate them. Step number 1. Step number 2 is you're going to start to support the digestive system with gut bacteria, probiotics. Get a kitty probiotic. Also fermented foods if the kid will eat them. A lot of kids won't eat that, but you can always get them a child probiotic, I should say. And if the kid's on an antibiotic, which they usually are, it becomes even more important that they're on probiotics when they're done with their antibiotics. So making sure you're supporting the kid's digestion with probiotics. You might want to try a little of the Z Radical or the Fucoid Z. Now, the Z Radical is a little sweet, but the kid will like it. I would dilute it. But the sugars in the Z Radical or the Fucoid Z, for that matter, will coat the digestive tract. And that can help support digestive health. Also, you might want to use, if the kid will eat chicken soup, bone soup, real chicken soup made with the bones, that can also have a beneficial effect on the digestive tract. The next thing, so number 1 is you're going to work on digestion. Number 2 is you got to work on fats. And they're related because fats are harder to absorb. So if there's a digestive problem, the kid's not going to be absorbing his fats. So essential fatty acids are not optional for anybody, period. Remember, I just said they were essential, but especially if a child's got eczema. Omega-3 fatty acids from fish can be helpful. Omega-3 fatty acids from flaxseed can be helpful. And omega-6 fatty acids are important as well. There's way more omega-6s in the skin, by the way, than omega-3s. A lot of nutritionists are telling people, don't worry about your omega-6s. You get too many of them, blah, blah, blah. I'm not buying it, because most of us are cooking or processing or heating or our omega-6 oils, or we're buying them in a clear bottle and the omega-6s have been removed. So both omega-6s and omega-3s are important. If the kid can take, how old did you say he was? Did you say 2? Okay, so probably he's not going to be able to do the capsules, but you can break open the capsules. The Ultimate EFA capsules, maybe 2 or 3 of the Ultimate EFA capsules, and then squeeze them into some applesauce or something that the kid will eat, some like rice pudding or something along those lines, something that the kid will eat. You can also squeeze open the capsules and put them right on the eczema. That can help.
Yeah, that was my next question. Good.
Absolutely, you can do that. And there's also fatty vitamins that you can do that with. Hang tight, a couple more things I want to tell you. There's also, we talked about this yesterday, there's also a really neat essential fatty acid derivative from omega-6s that you can apply right on the eczema, or you can use orally as a supplement. Hang tight, Tawanda. We'll finish up when we come back. I'm Pharmacist Ben. You're listening to The Bright Side. 844-236-6010 is our number. We'll be back right after this. Okay, we are back on The Bright Side. 844-236-6010 is our number. We're talking to Tawanda in Oklahoma. So work on the digestive system, number 1, Tawanda. The breath issue is definitely, well, not definitely, but more than likely a bacterial issue, a gut bacteria issue. So probiotics, if you can break open a probiotic, there are liquid probiotics for children, too, that you can get. And then also working on digestive health, coating and soothing the digestive system, and then using the Fucoid Z and the Z Radical in bone soup. And then also doing a food diary and eliminating problem foods. Then you want to work with fats. Now, fats, there's 2 different kinds of fats you're going to want to work with. Number 1, your essential fatty acids, and you can break open a capsule and squeeze the contents of your Ultimate EFA or Ultimate EFA Plus on in some rice pudding or applesauce or something that the kid will eat, fish or something like that. And then also you can apply the oil, right, the EFA liquid, right on the eczema, right on the rash. You can also use, fish oil is another one too. Fish oil can be very helpful for eczema in fish too. But you can also use something called GLA, which we talked about yesterday. GLA is a breakdown product, a derivative of omega-6 fatty acids, and it can be really, really helpful for eczema, both internally and externally. That is, you can take GLA capsules. You'll get some GLA, as we said yesterday, in your Ultimate EFA Plus. But if you want more, you can get GLA capsules straight. They usually use Evening Primrose or Barrage, but they call it They call it GLA. Okay. And then you can apply it right on the skin. And then there's the fatty vitamins. Vitamin A and D in particular are very, very important for eczema, very, very important for the child's development, getting the kid out in the sun to get his vitamin D. Also, fish oil is a source of vitamin D. Supplemental vitamin D, maybe 1,000 to 2,000, up to 5,000 international units a day for a 2-year-old probably. Can't really overdo well, you can theoretically, but it's very difficult to overdo the vitamin A. Vitamin A containing foods or animal foods, unfortunately, a lot of the foods that contain vitamin A may cause reactions, so you got to be observant, but certainly the supplements should be no problem. And then last but not least, there's minerals that are related to the fatty system, particularly zinc and selenium. Zinc is also very important for development of muscle, development of bone, development of the brain in children. And zinc deficiency is very common. I'd be using maybe 10 milligrams or so of zinc. You can get a product called All-One powder, which can be used for children. Just add it to liquid. It's similar to the Beyond Tangy Tangerine, but it's more like a multiple vitamin. The BTT is not really a multiple vitamin. And this will get them some zinc and some of the other nutrients that are hard to get for kids to get because they won't take pills, but you can drink the All-One powder if you put it into a little water or mix it with your Beyond Tangy Tangerine. But eczema is super easy to treat. If you do all this correctly, kids should have not only no more eczema in a month, but also no more ear infections and no more snotty mucusy kinds of secretions coming out of his nose. And also, you're going to reduce the risk of further problems down the road. These are all signals. These are all harbingers of further problems as the kid gets older, including immune problems, autoimmune problems, and it's a big mess. You don't want to be dealing with any of this stuff. So let's get to work here. By the way, weight gain and obesity have now been shown to be related to dysbiosis, messed up gut bacteria. So this is a kid who's also at risk for obesity and weight gain and weight problems as he gets older. All right, Twanda?
Well, thank you so much.
Well, thank you. God bless you. Have a beautiful day. Thanks for calling.
You too. Bye-bye.
All right. Let's see. Carl, the Truth Raider. What's up, Truth Raider? What do you got for us?
There's in the grocery store about a month and a half ago, they came out with these genetically modified grapes. And what they did is it's like a green grape. And it's a seedless grape. But what they did is, I don't know how they did it, but they infused a cotton candy flavoring.
Oh, my goodness. Genetics. Oh, how would they do cotton candy, I wonder?
I don't know. They were pretty good. They tasted good. I don't know if there's any dangers in consuming anything like that or not.
They got a gene that tasted like cotton candy or something, and they stuck it into a bacteria or into the genome of the grape plant. I don't know how they would have done that. There's a place in New York City where they mix up flavors. They have oranges that taste like cherries and mangoes that taste like pineapples, all by manipulating the genetics. Better living through chemistry, as they say. All right, Carl, anything going on? I got some other calls I want to get to.
No, I just want to chime in and see what your take is on that and how they go about doing that.
Here's my take. Don't eat any fruit that tastes like cotton candy. That's my take. Okay. Thank you, Carl, the Truth Raider. Have a good day, bro.
All right, thanks.
All right, John Paul in Illinois. Welcome to the bright side.
Hello.
Hello, John Paul. What's going on, man?
Yes, it's an honor to talk to you. I'm from Chicago.
Thank you. What's going on in Chicago? How can we help you today?
My mom, she's going through menopause. She's 54.
Okay.
And she also has arthritis. So, I just want to get some information so I can give to her because she's trying to take care of herself.
Yeah, lots of good things. Let me give you a couple things right off the bat.
Okay.
Get her if she can find progesterone cream. It's a little hard to find, but in Chicago you might be able to find a compounding pharmacist to make you progesterone cream. Tell the pharmacist you want real progesterone, preferably from yam progesterone, not yam, but yam progesterone, and ask the pharmacist to make you a 10%. You might need to find a doctor to write a prescription, but that shouldn't be hard if she has an OBGYN. 10% progesterone cream and use a quarter teaspoon or so every day, quarter to half teaspoon every day. It'll kind of has a nice relaxing effect. And that's a very important point when it comes to menopause. Many of the signs of menopause are equivalent to the signs of bodily distress, emergency. Remember, there's two, I don't know if you've heard me say this before, Jean-Paul, but there's two kinds of nervous systems. There's two nervous systems in our bodies. We have an emergency nervous system and we have a resting nervous system. The signs of menopause are equal to the signs of an activated emergency nervous system. The anxiety, the high blood pressure, the blood clotting, the immune problems, the depression, the skin issues, all of these are digestive issues, hypothyroidism, all of these are signs of an chronically activated emergency nervous system. So calming the body down is extremely important. Eating less food, even intermittent fasting, has a calming effect on the body. Certainly reducing the blood sugar or diluting the blood sugar by drinking water after you eat sweets. That's another strategy that can help calm the body down. Respiration, oxygenation helps calm the body down. Slow, deep breathing can be very helpful. In terms of supplements, think fats. Fats. When it comes to menopausal issues and hormonal issues. Essential fatty acids are super important, both omega-3s and omega-6s, although omega-3s can have a nice calming effect on the body. But they're both important. Get her on the Ultimate EFAs, 3 in the morning, 3 in the afternoon, 3 at night. Make sure she's taking them with her Ultimate enzymes and with meals. Vitamin E and vitamin A can also be extremely helpful for menopausal symptoms. We'll talk about vitamin E tomorrow. 400 international units. 400 international units is a good place to be, but you can take more than that. But 400 international units a day of vitamin E. And then also vitamin A, 20,000 international units a day. So essential fatty acids, vitamin E, vitamin A. Vitamin D can be helpful. Make sure she's getting her vitamin D from the sun. It's the best place to get your vitamin D. If you can't do that in the wintertime, obviously in Chicago, that's going to be a little difficult. You can use vitamin D supplements, or you can use fish oil, which contains vitamin D. Although if you have the sun available, I'm telling you guys, it's not the same. The supplemental vitamin D is not like solar vitamin D. Solar vitamin D is the best. No matter what you hear from your dermatologist, it's the best. So vitamin D, essential fatty acids. Then there's minerals that are associated with the fats. As we were talking to Tawanda before, zinc is especially helpful for the skin and for menopausal symptoms in general. Also for the blood pressure, 50 milligrams of zinc picolinate. Wouldn't hurt to throw in 2 to 4 milligrams of a copper product with your zinc. In fact, if you want to do things just perfectly, you always want to take a little bit of copper with your zinc because they balance each other out. And taking zinc can cause copper deficiencies and vice versa. Taking copper can cause zinc deficiencies. So you want to make sure you're using them together. And copper also has some interesting roles to play in keeping your blood vessels strong and helping make collagen. And it also has some interesting properties in terms of pigmentation for folks who have gray hair or growing gray. I'm not going to tell you that copper is like a remedy for gray hair, but it is involved in the pigmentation process. So think fats, use fatty vitamins and essential fatty acids, relax the body, reduce blood sugar, eliminate problem foods, eat less food. Make sure you're eating fatty foods too. You know, we talked a lot about supplementing, but there's lots of good fatty foods. Fish is an incredibly important fatty food. If you're going to do vegetables, avocados have some fat in there, obviously. Grains have some fat. Some quality oils. You got to be careful, though, of course, with your grains. There's lots of food ways to get your fats, but you do have to be a little bit more careful. Supplementation, you don't have to be as careful because your essential fats are protected in their gel caps or in the refrigerator if you're using liquid fats. Let's see if there's any eggs, by the way, are another good source of essential fatty acids and fatty nutrients. All right, that's all the time we have for today. Thanks for your call, John Paul. Appreciate it. That's all the time we have for today. Tomorrow we'll continue talking about fatty vitamins and essential fatty acids, specifically talk about vitamin E, and we'll talk about vitamin E's cousin, which is not an essential nutrient but can be really, really super important for the liver and for the heart. If you're interested in purchasing any of the longevity products, head over to brightsideben.com or criticalhealthnews.com. And if you're interested in purchasing our retinol 5% gel, head over to truthtreatments.com. Thanks for listening, friends. Have a wonderful, beautiful day. We'll talk to y'all later. Bye for now.